Okay, good. So good morning, everyone. And it's probably late evening for you, Karthik. Thank you for joining. So we are continuing with our series of exploring different options of reading and writing math. And this is our 5th session in that series. So there have been a lot of participation in our past workshops, and I do see a lot of people joining today also. So thank you for joining and showing us this interest. As promised last time, today we have got Karthik and Sunil from the iSTEM team. We had given you a brief outline of the iSTEM app last time. Sanjog had demonstrated it because we had just had a first view of the latest public release on that day. And we felt that the iSTEM team should come in and give us a detailed demonstration and what is possible, what is still not possible with the application. All those things we're going to do today here from Karthik and team. So over to you, Karthik.
Thank you so much. First of all, thanks for the invitation to join you all to share more about iSTEM and the product. It's always a pleasure to connect with all of you. So I'm going to briefly talk about iSTEM and what we do and kind of the genesis of the app and talk a little bit about the features of the app. And then I'm going to pass it over to Sunil for a demo of the app, and he'll walk you through the features in detail. So, iSTEM really came into being kind of because of our own struggle as blind students at that time with math and science, where a lot of the content was inaccessible, as I'm sure you might have come across or have been talking in the past sessions. And so that was a big challenge for us as well. And the only way at that time for many of us was to have someone dictate that content, it being inaccessible and us kind of writing it out. So that was a big challenge. And then also at the same time, besides the content and the technology not there, there was this big issue of educational institutes not being aware of how blind students could pursue engineering and if they could. As well as the corporates not having that understanding, especially for people who wanted to enter the STEM careers or the STEM field in India. And so what we wanted to do was multiple things. One was, of course, create a community of people with disabilities, particularly those who are blind or visually impaired at that time, who are interested in math and science. And the idea was for us to be able to mentor each other, share our perspectives, and help each other out. And at the same time, the idea was to start talking to universities and corporates and get them on board as well. So we've been around since 2018 or so. And the first couple of years that we were there, we were largely an advocacy organization, organizing these events that would bring together people with and without disabilities, academic institutes and corporates, et cetera, together. And the idea was to have these sensitization programs and discussions in STEM learning for kids, STEM learning, in colleges and universities. Where were we at? What was happening internationally? What were the gaps in India? Those kinds of things. And in fact, actually, we just organized the 5th version of that, last month in Delhi. We'll actually have a few sessions up on YouTube as well, in case you would like to check out and kind of learn more. But again, the core again being that the things were still inaccessible, and we wanted to leverage our technical skills to try and see what might be possible. So we have been working on this for about a year or so, a year and a half, on how we can support reading math, but actually beyond that, right? Like today, when you think about OCR applications, a lot of them, it is basically saying, all right, extract all of the text that you have from an image, and that is basically what your conversion is. And that, of course, as we know, is only one part of it, right? Because you have tables, you have lists, you have headings, and a bunch of other structural information in a document that gets missed out through the regular conventional OCR software quite often. And they wanted to kind of change that, even for non-math documents. We wanted to make sure that we were able to retain layout as much as possible and expose that layout using correct semantics to someone who's accessing this document with a screen reader, perhaps. So that's kind of what the goal has been. And as part of that, the idea was to extend that to math, because a lot of what we see in terms of things, for example, being spatial or non-linear, that renders them inaccessible, is also kind of a lot of the structural information, and how can we use what is known as computer vision to really try and understand this kind of like these semantics and the spatial understanding. And so that's kind of what we've been trying to do. And that was, in a nutshell, who we are, where we're coming from, and what we've done. And I don't want to bore you with more of that. And so I'll jump to what the product looks like today, and what our future plans are. And then I'll hand it over to Sunil for a quick demo. And then I'll come back at the end to both of us to see if you have any questions. And so the product as it stands today, first of all, there are two versions. There's a web version of the product, and the web version, and you can put the links in the chat, and we'll be happy to kind of speak them out as well. But there's a web version of the app that can be accessed, and then there's an Android app right now. Before I get any questions on when the iOS would be coming, so we'll try to get that as soon as possible as well. But that is kind of what the current offerings look like. There are primarily 4 features of the app. The first one is what we call the quick OCR. Now, this quick OCR feature is very much like what you already see from existing OCR apps. And so think about InVision, think about others, Kibo, etc. And this idea here is to basically provide you kind of like a guided capture experience where it can tell you using edge detection, if all of the edges are visible, and then help you take a picture and then extract text from that image, and then read that out to you. You can access that. The intended purpose of this is, hey, if you want to get like quick information, and if you know that the document is very simple, it's mostly like just text, plain text that you would like to access. But time is of the essence here, right? Where you want to get this conversion really, really fast. And you want to be able to take a picture of a hard copy thing, then you can use the quick OCR feature to get quick text extraction from a hard copy page. The second one is the document accessibility, which is the core of our work, where the idea is if you have an inaccessible PDF or an image, then what you can do is you can upload that and then convert that into an accessible format. It will ask you whether it's a math document or not, because currently we use different models and engines for processing math and non-math. And then you can choose whether you would like to choose the HTML format to read or the Word format. And we use the MathML to basically make these math documents accessible, that Sunil will get to and kind of demo in just a bit to help you understand how it works. But another thing that I would like to highlight again is, I know we're talking about STEM, but it's not only for STEM. A lot of the usage that we're seeing over the past week that we've launched this publicly is basically for content that has nothing to do with math, but content that might have tables, content that might have lists, content that might be multi-column, the kind of content that you would normally, for example, see in magazines. And a bunch of other stuff like that. And so that's kind of like another use case that the document accessibility services is supposed to kind of cover. The third feature is what we call the audio video accessibility services. Now, audio video accessibility services are really, if you would like to get a transcript from a video, right? And so, it's kind of like what you would normally say, maybe like, for example, captions. Now, there, that one might be less relevant as much to people with print disabilities, but the intended audience there was deaf and hard of hearing. But again, all of us find ourselves in situations where we could find that useful as well. And the second part of the audio video accessibility service is text extraction from videos. And this was inspired by a lot of people reaching out to us during the pandemic and saying, hey, I have these lecture videos, but my teacher, shares these slides. And as a blind person, I'm unable to access this content. Is there a way around it? And so what this service does is basically extract this content from videos and then provides you this content as a text file that you can then access. And so that way, you can basically access the content that was being shared as well. And the fourth one is what we call the Learn tab, which basically includes our resources. One of the things that we realized as we were doing beta testing was even when you do provide people accessible math, because not many documents are accessible today and because not many people have used it, there's also this gap in terms of knowledge, in terms of how do I even read if I were to get an accessible document. And so the fourth one is really intended to be a set of resources on a wide variety of topics, right from accessible STEM to other assistive technology related issues, and talking about apps, etc. Trying to cater to a very wide audience that might be very, very new to even, for example, using a phone. Let's say they don't have any experience with TalkBack, to then having, for example, resources on various career opportunities and what does it mean in terms of accessibility, and professionals in those sectors who've done well, and any actionable sort of advice that they have for you if you want to kind of enter that field. People kind of like wanted to share their experiences. So those are the four features that are in the app today, and the web version mirrors this to a large extent. The document accessibility and the audio video accessibility are exactly the same on the web version as well. So you can use those services either on your phone if you have an Android phone, or if you're, for example, an iOS user, or if you would just like to use it on a computer, then you can access the web version. I would kind of move towards a piece of conclusion of my part, and just say that, hey, there are a lot of bugs in the app. We know that, and this is nowhere near perfect. And so one of the things that I do ask is, after the webinar, if you please try out the app, give us feedback. We really need feedback, and we want to try and co-create this with you, and we really mean it when we say it. And so, any sort of feedback, any sort of feature requests, anything that you think might be useful that isn't in the app right now would be extremely helpful for us to include in our roadmap and kind of like develop. I mean, we want to make sure that, being blind ourselves, we want to make sure that we're really developing for and with the community, and making sure that we prioritize correctly the features that would truly have an impact and would help all of us. And I'm going to stop there, and maybe let's check if there are any questions right now, and then, or do we want to do that at the end? I mean, fine, either way. And then Sunil can take over and kind of demo.
So Karthik will take all the questions at the end once Sunil finishes his presentation.
Sounds good. Sunil.
Over to you, Sunil.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll start my screen share again. One second.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Your screen is not visible.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yes, it is visible.
See my screen.
Yes, it's visible now. Yeah, it is visible.
Sure.
Speech rate 28%. Speech rate 25%.
Yeah, 28 is good. So
Swipe up, then
28, 30
down, or
is good.
swipe down, then
Okay.
up to select a different
This
set.
should be good. So I think, so Karthik has covered, basically the gist of the features. Now I'll be going ahead and giving you the demo. So I'll start by, whatever
iSTEM app.
the onboarding journey look
Double
like,
tap
and
to
then we
activate.
will look at
Double
the
tap and hold to
features.
long press. PayPal, iSTEM app. iSTEM app.
So right now,
Select feed screen.
two things before I start. One is that right now, the
iSTEM.
app name is iSTEM in Play Store. So if you search for it, you should be searching for I-STEM. And then right now there is another government app, which is on the top by the same name, iSTEM. But if you scroll down and go to second app in the list, you will find iSTEM app. And there the developer account name will be iSTEM team. For the government, its name is a bit different. It's saying Central Sensi or something. But when you look for the iSTEM app on the Play Store, you should be downloading the one by saying the name iSTEM team. iSTEM app by iSTEM team. Yeah, so once you have installed the app, now this is the first screen you see.
Choose a theme.
So where we have a theme. So, as to what kind of theme you want to use. Do you want to use, let's say, black background or white background, or correspondingly black text or white text?
Selected.
And
Radio
then
button. Radio button.
for my
White
case, I'll
background,
just select
black
default
text.
because I'm a screen reader user. But let's say
Double tap to
someone
activate.
is more easier with contrast, so they can use these things.
Radio button. Use default and continue. Welcome to iSTEM screen.
So once you have selected your
Get
theme,
started.
you
Button.
are landed
Double
on
tap
a
to activate.
onboarding tool. So we have, onboarding tool explaining the key features of the app. So I'll perhaps show you one screen and then skip rest of them because we've already talked about them.
Step 1 of 7.
So there are 7 different screens.
Get started. Quick OCR.
So first feature that we talk about is
Skip.
Quick OCR.
Our Quick OCR service helps the blind or visually impaired convert hard copies of bills or papers to accessible formats easily. Our AI guides you with the correct orientation to take better photos and get more accurate results.
So this was one demonstration of
Step 2 of 7.
this onboarding tool. Again, when you are downloading it and when you're using it, I would request you to go through all of it and perhaps again read about what each of our services are trying to do. In this case, I'll skip it.
Skip button. iSTEM logo. iSTEM
So
heading.
once you have completed the onboarding tool, the first thing that you see is
Create new account or log in to continue. Heading.
so you need to create an account with iSTEM app. So we have both web portal as well as app, and both of them are linked to same backend. So that means you can use same account across both of them. So in this case, I'll
Sign up with email button. Sign up with Google button.
go ahead and sign up with Google. You can also sign up with email and
Google
password.
Play services. Science Explorer. Sunil Kumar. Sunil Kumar. iSTEM. Sunil Chowdhury. Sunil. Google Play services. iSTEM app.
So
Sign up with Google.
once you have selected your account that you want to create your email with, so
Docs
right now
accessibility.
the first thing you
Heading.
see is Docs accessibility. So right now we have 4 tabs in the app. If I talk about them, so
Document accessibility request history. Selected. Tab. Docs.
Docs tab,
Tab. Media.
Media tab,
Tab. Learn.
tab,
Tab. Profile.
So that's how the
Double tap
iSTEM
to
app is
activate.
organized right now. There are 4 different tabs. So first tab is Docs tab, where you see all the document accessibility services or all the services where you want to convert your PDF and image into accessible format. So first option here is Quick OCR.
Quick OCR, how it works.
So the
Camera.
within Quick
button.
OCR, the first option is camera.
Double
So you
tap
can
to
use
activate.
camera to capture your picture. So I'll go ahead and show you how that works.
Select mode screen.
Now we have,
Back.
when you
button.
select on camera, there are
Double
2
tap
different
to
modes
activate.
available. One is, let's say, guided capture, where we give you instruction as to how your camera should be aligned with respect to the page whose picture you are taking. Then another
Select
is
guided capture button. Manual capture.
manual capture.
Button.
So manual capture
Double tap to
gives
activate.
you a normal camera view where you can just capture the photo. So this could be, let's say, if someone is helping you taking the photo, they can use it. Or let's say if you want to also use it, so that you can also use it. So I'll
Guided capture.
start with
button.
guided capture here.
Allow iSTEM app to take pictures and record video. Deny button.
So it will ask me camera
Double
permission as
tap
we are
to
taking the
activate.
capture.
Allow button.
So I'll allow it.
iSTEM app. Camera initialized. Back button. Move to top left.
Now it's
Double
giving
tap
me
to
direction
activate.
as to where I should move.
Only bottom. Edge visible. Move to top right. Move towards right.
So
All edges detected. Hold steady. All edges detected. Taking snapshot.
So
Preview image screen.
right now,
Back
the
button.
algorithm we have is
Double
here
tap
is
to
that we are
activate.
taking a pass over the picture, each second, and trying to see how much edges we are able to detect, and accordingly guiding the user. Visually, you can also see them. If let's say someone can see the screen as to where the edges are being drawn. So once we have detected the edges, then we check for 2 regular passes that all edges are detected or not. That is we do because generally Android cameras are not good, because Android have a wide variety of camera, some good, some bad. So what we do is we try to make sure that we have taken the correct picture by continuously checking for all edges detection for 2 continuous passes. So in this case, I have captured the image.
Preview image.
It's showing me the previous.
Button.
I can retake
Double
it if I
tap
am
to
not
activate.
satisfied with the result,
Get results.
or I can
button.
just get the
Processing
result.
free period. Results screen loaded.
So you hear the that audio feedback saying
Describe
that
their
it's
supper and
being
text
processed,
results.
and
Heading.
then the text appears as a normal text that you will read with, let's say, any web page or any app description. So I can just swipe
Describe
right
their supper,
and read
the
it.
story was over. Working his way through this scheme was especially fatiguing on Saturday because Joe never fell asleep in naps anymore. And knowing this made the write seem futile.
So, and again, there is paragraph wise, there is next paragraph as
The
well.
little girl ain't a little anymore. The bumps her feet made under the covers were halfway down the
So that way you can read the
docs accessibility.
a page, whatever you
Heading.
have captured. So in
Quick
this case,
OC camera.
I can also show you the other
Select
part,
modes.
which is
Back. Select guided capture. Manual capture button.
manual capture.
Capture image
So
screen.
in
Camera
there you cannot
initialized.
click on, let's say, take a snapshot. That's an
button.
automatic thing, guided
Double
capture.
tap to
You can just
activate.
move the camera. Here you have the control where
image.
when you want to
Heading.
take the picture, because
Take
we assume
picture.
that you
Button.
are able to align
Double
the
tap to
camera
activate.
accordingly. So in this case, again, I'll take the picture of same page and show you how the result comes. So we already have the take picture button here, and then you will be able to see that.
Take picture. Preview image screen.
So
Back button. Double tap to activate.
so once the capture is done, we again have the same thing.
Preview image. Retake.
Retake or
Get results.
get result.
Button.
So I can simply again
Processing
click on
free
get result
period.
and wait for the result while it's being processed.
Text results screen loaded.
Because we took the picture of the same page, so that
Text
we expect the
back
result to be
button.
same only.
Text result. Described their supper, and the story was over. Working his way through this scheme was especially
So this is about the quick OCRs, where you can quickly
docs
take a picture,
accessibility.
quickly get
Heading.
the result. So that's the purpose of it. Now,
Quick camera.
another option
button.
here is
Gallery.
you can also
button.
select from your
Double tap to
local or
activate.
from your device if there is any file that you want to select, image. Again, we will not recommend to use PDF for quick OCR, because again, mostly there could be the file size could be large, and you might not get very good results with quick OCR, because again, it's only intended to get text, not the semantic layout. Now, what semantic layout we are talking about is something we will discuss in a bit.
Quick OCR request history.
Then there is
button.
request history. All
Double
the
tap to
captures you have
activate.
done, you can see in the request history.
Quick OCR how it works.
And then
button.
quick OCR, how it works, you can see.
Double tap. Document accessibility.
Now the
Heading.
second service here on the docs tab is document accessibility. So that was quick OCR, which was just to get text. Now document accessibility is what Karthik was talking earlier, where we detect all the headings, let's say tables, we correctly detect tables. Then let's say if it is a digital PDF, so then it's possibility that there is a cross-referencing present. Because if you do normal OCR, that information is lost. But let's say if you are using document accessibility services of iSTEM, so we try to maintain as much information as possible from the original and make it more better.
Convert new
So
document.
you have
button.
convert new document button here. So in this
Upload
case,
file or use camera screen. Upload. Supported input. PDF. Image JPG. JPEG. PNG. TIFF. Max file size limit. Upload file. Button. Open camera. Button.
So these are two options here,
Double
upload
tap
file
to
and
activate.
camera. So again, you can use the same camera flow that you did in the quick OCR, but camera is something we already looked at. So we'll now go to
Upload file. Button.
upload file from my local.
Allow iStem app to access photos.
So it's
videos.
asking me
Allow.
to give the permission.
Deny.
So I've
Allow.
given the permission.
iStem app. Show routes. Recent. Double tap to active. Drop down. Search.
So now here the input that you can
Double tap
upload
to
is
activate.
PDF or
Double
image.
tap and hold.
So those
Listen
are the
view.
two. Image could be of any file
Double
format,
tap. Sort by.
but it should be PDF and image as
Double
an
tap.
input.
More options.
So if you see I have one
100.
document here.
Complex on HW dot iStems Kev 11 research paper dot PDF 106 kilobyte.
So I have a PDF file here.
iStem
So
app.
I'll go ahead
Upload file.
and
Button. Out
upload
of
it
grid.
to our server.
Convert new documents.
So when
Convert
I've
new
selected the
document.
file, it
Research
tells
paper
me
dot PDF uploaded. Heading.
to research paper PDF uploaded. So this file has been uploaded. Now, what
File
are the other
name.
options?
Research paper. Edit
I
box.
can give file name. Let's say whatever file name it
Double tap
is,
to edit
it has
text.
taken by default.
Double
I want to
tap and
change it.
hold to
I can
long
change it
press.
here. So
Actions
that's what will
available.
be the
You swipe up then right.
file name you will be getting in the document that you will be getting as an output. So now,
Does this document contain math? Radio group.
now there is another question which says, whether this document contains math or not. So if you know that this document contains math, then you should select yes here. And otherwise by default, it's
Radio button. Yes. Selected. Radio button.
no is selected.
Double
So-
tap to activate.
So this is an important information. If you want to read mathematics, you should select yes here. This is a non-math document, so it does not contain much math. So I'll just go ahead and keep it as it is. Again, when I'm saying math, I mean math, for example, let's say high school level mathematics or college level mathematics, those kind of thing. Let's say it only contains tables with, let's say, normal number, saying that, let's say there is a finance table that is there with just numbers. So for that does not quantify or qualify as a math document. That is again a non-math document. When we say math document, we mean it's a college level or high school level mathematics.
Select output format.
Then you can select output format. So
Select output
right
format.
now we have two different output format you can
iStem
select.
app. Menu. Microsoft Word doc menu item. HTML. Menu item.
Microsoft Word and HTML. So again, Microsoft Word requires you to install Microsoft Office and things in your app. Let's say if you want to read it on app. So in this case,
HTML.
I'll click on HTML.
iStem app. HTML. Combo box. Convert document.
And
Button.
then I will just say that I want to
Processing
convert it.
free period. Request uploaded successfully. Document request history.
So once you
screen.
have uploaded
Back.
the screen,
Button.
once you
Double
uploaded the
tap to
document,
activate.
so now you have,
Email. iStem service request for research paper is complete.
so now your file is converted in the background. And as soon as the results are ready, you see those things appearing here. So right now I got an email saying that this file is converted.
Showing list.
So in this
Document.
case,
Download research paper. Button.
by default, it
Double tap to
comes to
activate.
request history where all the requests are listed, saying that this is the document name, and then there is a download button just next to it. For example, if you see
Document name research paper.
research paper,
Download research paper. Button.
download research paper. So this will
Double
download the
tap to
output of this conversion. So I'll go ahead and download it. So I'll click on this button, and while it downloads, the same button will be converted
Open
into
research paper.
open
Open.
button.
Document. Open research paper.
Instead of
Button.
download, it shows me open now. So
Double
I will
tap.
click the same button
Open.
again.
Browser. Column 1.
And
in
now
grid,
it will ask
one
the
row,
Android
2
app
columns.
app chooser comes, which asks you, which
Double tap to
uh,
activate. Double tap and
app you
hold
want to
long press.
use to read this document. In this case,
More. Column 2. Double
I'll choose Chrome.
Chrome. Column 2. Page. Chrome. Chrome. Web 100%. iStem converted file. Web view. iStem converted file. Heading 1. Page 1. Heading 6.
So now some of the convention that we have in our output formats or output that we generate. So we keep all the pages as at 6. So whenever there is a page change of original PDF file, you will see in the output, there is a page one page to whatever number, and at 6 is inserted. So that is for easier navigation amongst the pages. So you can easily move by heading shortcut and can jump between the things. So right now, again, I know most of the users might be knowing how you can navigate at different level in Android, but perhaps for those who don't know, I'll explain a feature in a bit so that we can navigate this document by heading. So the use case that right now what I'm trying to show is I want to explore this document as to, what are the different sections contained in it, and then how I can go ahead and read a particular section that I'm interested in. So this is an information which is very easily available for sighted people because they can see they can scroll the text and they can easily see, which text is large, let's say of bold font. So therefore they know that this is a heading, and that way they know what are the sections in it, because not every, a document has table of contents and you cannot skim through it. But now you have converted its file through iSTEM document accessibility services. So now you have that capability. Now coming to the navigation. So there is a gesture in Android, which is, swipe down and then you swipe up without lifting your finger. So that's how you can change the different navigation level. In my case,
spoken language.
There are other
Swipe
settings
up or
available
swipe
as
down
well.
to adjust the setting. Characters.
So now I can move character by character. What I'm doing is swipe down and then swipe up. It's a single gesture. Swipe down, swipe up.
Words.
Then it's now I can move by word by word.
To read by words.
Now the thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to, in this case, let's say I'm demonstrating you heading. So I'll go down and go to heading level.
Headings. Swipe up or swipe down to read by headings.
Yeah. So now it's saying either swipe up or swipe down to move by heading. So the gesture that we were performing right now, it was swipe down and swipe up. So that means you are not lifting the finger. Now what we will be doing is we will be swiping down only. So let's see what happens.
Abstract, heading 1.
So now I'm at abstract, which is heading 1.
One introduction, heading 1.
Then the first section is there, which is introduction.
Page 2, heading 6. 2 related work, heading 1.
Related work, heading 1.
3 the approach, heading 1. Page 3, heading 6.
Now we are on next page.
4 experimental setup and results, heading 1. 4.1 data, heading 2. 4.2 baseline and evaluation method, heading 2.
Now, so when you encountered a subsection, now you see the screen reader says it's a heading 2. In this case, because there is 4.1 and 4.2 as well, so that you can infer that way as well. But in this case, it was also telling you what is the heading level you are looking at.
4.1 data, heading 2. 4.2 baseline and evaluation method, heading 2. Page 4, heading 6.
Then page 4, heading 6.
4.3 results, heading 2.
Then results.
Page 5, heading 6. 5 conclusions, heading 1. References, heading 1. No next heading.
Yeah, so now I now explored all the subsections or sections that are present in this document. Now let's say I want to read a particular section. In this case, I want to show how it reads table. So I'll go to a particular section.
Page 4, 4.2 baseline and page 4.3 results, heading 2.
Results. Within this results, there is a table that I will show you how it reads. Now I was doing all I was doing was heading navigation. Now I will read the text actually. What is the text?
In our experiments, we set a threshold of 5 to filter uncommon rules. We archive the best result with this threshold. Table 2. Link.
So
double tap to activate.
Now another
Links
thing
available. Use swipe up then right to view.
So what I'm doing here is I'm moving left and right, the normal gesture we do to read any screen. So in this case, if you see, this is a cross-reference we have. So it said that 2, which is a link, which will point to a table 2, which is present in this document. So I'll click this link and see what happens.
Link. Table 2, data statistic.
So now within the same document, you have jumped to the table. So that cross-referencing is something which is also that we extract from the PDF if it is present.
Table 2, data statistic.
Table 2, data statistic.
Right arrow curving left, button.
Again, if you want to
Double
go
tap
back,
to activate.
you can click this arrow button to go to from where you came. Through that cross-referencing link we came. So we can go back to that link if you want to by clicking this button.
Data, heading, row 1, data, in table, 5 rows, 3 columns.
It's saying 5 rows, 3 columns. The first entry is data and the data is a heading.
SQRT section.
Now what I'm doing is I'm doing a left to right swipe again. Right swipe to move to the next item. So now it is reading the entry cell by cell. The next thing is SQRT elementary section.
Elementary function section.
Elementary function section.
Training data, row 2.
Now I've entered row 2. So it's saying training data.
169, SQRT section.
Now, so when I've entered the second column, now it's again reading out what is the heading for that. So it's firstly it's reading the cell information. For in this case, it was 169. Then it read out what was the title, saying that SQRT section.
1589, elementary function section.
1589, and now it's saying that it belongs to elementary section. So that way, when you're reading the information, it becomes very easier to know. For in this case, there are only 3 columns, so perhaps you can easily remember. But let's say it is a huge column in terms of column size and things. So it will read out what is the column header. Similarly, and if you move row by row, you can also do the row header thing. You can also understand row header as well. But again, Android is a bit limited in terms of what navigations are available compared to, let's say, if you're using things on PC. We'll come to that in a bit.
Testing data, row 3, data.
Now I've entered testing data. It's a data at the ends, which is basically the column header. So this is how we extract the table information, which you might not read in, which you may not get it in the PDF, although it's a table data. But again, sometimes what happens that screen reader just read out the table information as a single line. So it's reading the first line of first column, then second line of first column. I mean the first line of second column, then the first line of third column, which is not a experience you would want while reading the table. So what we are doing here is we are providing all those control in the HTML file so that whatever screen reader you are using, it is able to understand it and get it through. So in this case, I'll go. So I think that's all I wanted to show here in this particular document. So I'll go back.
iStem converted file, web view, out of table. iStem app, open research paper, button.
Now I'm back in the request history from where I started.
Double, showing list of 100 documents. Scroll
now,
down, document name, research paper.
If you click on the document
Double
name
tap
here,
to activate.
So you see the details
document
of that particular
screen.
Document.
Back, button, document details, heading, document name, research paper. Uploaded 10 minutes ago. Status completed. Document type non-map. Open, button, add review, button.
Yeah, so one of the features that I want to talk here is add review. So whenever we complete the conversion, you can access this particular page. And now while reading out the output file, you found out, let's say, some issue, because again, all of these are automated results and AI is giving out these results. We are trying our best to give you the most accurate thing, but let's say still you found out some issue. So then you can come here,
add review,
and add review.
Add review screen.
So add review, if you see, it's a normal text box.
Give feedback on the document results. Feedback 3 period, edit box.
You can give the feedback here.
Double
and then
tap, submit feedback button.
Submit. So right now it's a textual field. Again, we are working, in the future version, we'll have a way for you to even record your voice messages and then send it so that it's easier for you to give the feedback. But right now it's a textual field where you can type and send us the feedback. Again, as I said earlier as well, you can access the same thing over the web portal. So if let's say you are not comfortable typing in Android, so you can go to web and give your feedback there as well. Same options are also available there.
Open button.
Now,
document type non-map.
So this was about the non-math and how we are able to detect semantics and things of the layout as to where is heading, where is table, and where is thing. Now, the thing that comes down now is the math part of it. So in the request history that we just saw, so we had So in the request that we have just uploaded, there was a question saying that, whether this document contain math or not. So one thing that you can do is when you are reading a math document, you should always select yes there. So in this case, in Android, you can read out the math documents, but there are some limitations as of now that we have. Firstly, the document should be small enough. If let's say it is bigger, let's say around 50 or more pages. So in Android, that might, lag. Again, it also depends on your Android configuration. For me, I think mobile is a bit lighter one. So, but depending on your CPU configuration, that may take some time to load, and you might not be able to get the best result for the mathematics while reading on Android. So the navigation or the reading that you will find for math document is that you will be you can read out the mathematics at a single go. So again, I'm assuming a lot of users here might be experienced with how you read mathematics on the web. So there is a navigation available. You can navigate at expression level, saying that it's a numerator, it's a denominator. So that kind of functionality right now is not available in our Android app. So what you can do in Android app is you can just read out mathematics at a expression level, whole of the expression together. So for that reason, right now, what I'm going to show you for this math document is the thing on the PC, where you can, read the expression by, let's say, level by level. So for math part, I'll skip right now on this phone. I'll just go ahead with the other tabs.
Document type, open.
We'll come to that in a bit on PC.
Showing list of 100, document name, research paper. Quick OCR, camera, tab, learn, tab, media, selected.
Now, so the next tab that we have is the media tab.
Media access, iSTEM logo.
So media tab, as Karthik discussed earlier, it was again, if you have any audio video and you want to read out or you want to know what is the text which is being shared in the video, which is, you have, let's say it could be a lecture scenario where a professor is sharing the slide. So as a screen reader user, you might not be able to see or might not be able to get whatever is the content being shared. But if you have the access to the video, you can come here and upload your video and you will get the text corresponding to that.
Media,
so I'll show you
video
that right now.
Convert new file button.
So again, the
convert new file screen.
The UI looks similar. So you have a file, a way to upload the file.
Video image. What would you like to do? Heading.
So you have that convert new document button, and then you again have a request history where you can see all your past request history, and then how it works. So right now I've clicked on convert a new file. So it asks me what I want to do.
Yeah, Sunil, I think in the interest of time and also given the audience, maybe we can quickly just describe that and not demo every feature, because I'm assuming there might, the transcript might not be as relevant. And so I think just, given that, STEM is the focus and document accessibility is kind of key, let's just maybe give a quick feel. And I think we should probably then jump to the math bit or the Learn tab.
Okay, yeah. So in general, I can just show you the options and things. So
choose between text, radio button, get captions, radio button, extract text from video images.
So this is the option you should be selecting when you wanted text of the video, whatever is, what is being shown in the video. Extract text from video images. So this is the option you should be using. And
radio
then,
button, both.
So in this case,
radio button.
I select
extract
that.
text from video, radio button, upload file, supported input formats.
Then you can
video
upload the file.
Choose file button.
From your again from your device.
Activate.
So this will again open that gallery that we just saw. So
file name.
Perhaps I can just
choose file button.
Quickly
double tap.
Show
Process.
You that too.
Show routes. Documents. iSTEM snapshot. Disabled. Research paper. Testvideo.mp4.
It's an MP4 file.
iStem app.
It is a video.
Processing 3
You
period.
can upload it,
Button. Out of
and
grid.
then you can click on convert new document.
File
That will
name.
submit the
Heading.
request, and then as soon as it completed, you will get the result.
Process. Stop. Processing 3 period.
Again, now it's
Button.
loading, but
Window
again,
iStem app.
as in the interest
Double
of time,
tap to
I'll
activate.
skip this.
Convert file.
Okay, it's coming.
Convert file. Processing 3 period. Request uploaded successfully.
Okay, so now
Email.
so this
3
was
new
about the
messages. 3 new
video
messages. iStem
text
logo.
or screen share. Now, if you go to the next tab that we have, it's about
Audio vid. Tab. Docs. Selected. Tab. Media. Tab. Learn. Learn. Selected.
Learn tab. So Learn tab basically contains all the textual or video resources where you can read about different app accessibility features, or let's say on different. For example, we have a resource on TalkBack where you can read
Tab.
more about how
Profile.
efficiently you can use a TalkBack. So the interface shall look like is there is a latest blog
blogs.
option. You click latest blog,
Latest blog screen.
and you can see.
Showing lit. Exploring Android TalkBack. This tutorial series introduces the Android showing.
So it
latest
shows you list
blogs.
of all the
Heading.
resources that we have. So you can select any one of them and read more on it. So it's a textual information as well as audio or video available there, depending on So some of them have audio video options. Some of them are textual information. So all of these resources are written by community itself. So they are subject matter expert on what they wrote. So for example, we have a resource on what careers you can choose in finance. Let's say if you want to go in finance field. So you can read that part. Let's say how you should be doing a STEM study. So there is a resource available on that. Then we have, a resource on how you can efficiently use Google Pay and things. So that's how you can go
Message
ahead and
received.
read.
An
In this
accessible
case,
tour of Telegram. Double
I'll
tap to
again
activate.
skip this part. I will go to next step.
YouTube. Double tap.
So we have
YouTube.
so
Double
below
tap
the
to
resources
activate.
we have all our
Double
social
tap
media
to
channel.
LinkedIn.
You can go there and subscribe
Instagram.
for
Facebook.
latest news.
Tab. Selected. Tab. Profile.
Then there's a profile.
Profile. Selected.
Profile basically contains, again, your name and email, those things, your credits, how many credits you have.
Button.
Then there's
Double
a
tap
profile
to
button
activate.
where we ask you to fill your
Profile
information as to,
screen. Are you a person with disability?
what kind of disability you have, what is, what is the purpose for which you are using the app, so that, we can accordingly customize our feature and bring an app which is most relevant to you. So again, this is.
I would just add there that iStem, besides the app, we do run a lot of initiatives, mentorship, and we have worked with a bunch of corporate partners, especially in STEM. And so that also gives us an opportunity to get more information about you, and then potentially send you interesting information about our other initiatives that might be of interest. So that's kind of how we use that information.
Yeah. So it's basic information about your disability, what is the purpose of app you're using it for, then what is your employment status and those things. Okay, now another profile. You also have again that choose theme button here, where
change theme
you can again change whatever we saw in the beginning, and then there is log out button.
Double tap to activate.
That if you want to log out, and you can log out from here. So I think that's all the features we had on the app. So the math document part is something we will show you right now on PC at the navigation level and things. So would you like to do that, Karthik, or should I go ahead? Can you hear me, Karthik?
Sorry, can you come against me?
Yeah, so you would like to demo that, or should I go ahead?
Sure, I can do that. That's fine. Let's see. Give me a second.
Could you give screen share access to Karthik as well? Okay, you have. That's good.
Sunil, you might have to do that. I'm having some issues. Do you think you could log up like a PC real quick?
Okay, no, I'll do that. I'll share. So could you also give me access on this as well? No, I think my name here is iStem.
Already it was given. Yeah.
iStem already have it. Okay, cool. Give me a minute. I'm just starting it.
I think while Sunil loads that up, maybe we can quickly just see if there are any questions. And then as soon as he's ready, he can demo the math bit. Pranav, go ahead.
Okay, Karthik. So on behalf of everyone, how does your credit structure work? And when you first time log into the iStem app, do you directly get into it or you need to wait for approval from the iStem team?
The app is something that you directly get 2,500 credits as soon as you register. The web interface currently actually, and this will change this week, so I don't know how relevant this information is. As it stands today, you will require someone to actually request to give you access. Starting next week, you actually will not have any such sort of limitation. And so you can just come in and you'll have 2,500, the consistent experience across mobile and web.
Okay.
And so
and
you get
25 credits calculated.
Yeah, so it's 1 credit per page. You get 2,500 credits when you sign up. If you do need more than 2,500, you reach out to us and just let us know, what you're trying to do and why you need the credits. And we basically just give you the credits. That's how it's structured right now.
Is it going to be free for the time being, or later on you plan to make it commercial?
We do plan to keep it free for individual users. We have separate arrangements with enterprises and institutions, etc. But as it stands for individuals, we'll keep that free.
Great. And each credit corresponds to 1 scan, 1 page, or how does it work?
1 page, 1 credit is 1 page.
1 credit is 1 page. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Sunil, are you ready?
Sunil, in case you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Okay, till he comes back. We tried one of the math content books. The math content, it was elementary way, and it came off pretty well, but it skipped off all the tables which were there in the book. So was that by design, or how does it?
No, that shouldn't have happened. I think what the model might have done is recognize those as images. And we don't do alt text given how hard it is to get that right yet. And so I would think that that basically got identified as an image. But in general, tables should be recognized in math as well.
Would they be structured if normally when you use other applications, the tables get distorted and each column is pasted below the prior column? So
it'll be structured. It will be kind of the table that Sunil just showed you for non-math, where you had a proper table structure. You could use the table navigation features that you get as part of the screen reader to actually read it, column by column, and then you will have the table headers being spoken out as well, and you can leverage that to know your position in the table at a given point in time.
Good.
Yeah.
Sunil?
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, give me a minute. My screen is doing a bit weird. Let me give a minute.
Well, I mean, I can at least, I was having certain issues with JAWS going into an equation and navigating an equation. I don't know why, but I can at least have it read the document. So maybe I'll start with that, if that works with you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Yes. You see my screen?
Yes, it is visible. Yes, Karthik. It's
And
visible.
can you also hear the sound?
Yeah. Yeah. We can hear your sound. Reduce the
I'm
reading
gonna-
speed a little bit. Yeah.
I will do that, yes.
Slower. Heading level 6, page 1. MIT OpenCourseware. Link http mid edu. 18.01 single variable calculus. For information about citing these materials or our terms of use, visit link http mid edu terms. Heading level 6, page 2. Lecture 3. 18. Fall 2006. Lecture 3. Derivatives of products, quotients, sine and cosine. Derivative formulas. There are two kinds of derivative formulas. List of 2 items. 1. Specific examples. Raja R has joined the meeting. D over dxx to the power of n math content. Blank D over dxx to the power of n. X-ray.
So d over dx, as you can hear, this formula is
1. D over dxx to the power of n math.
d over dx x to the power of n is actually a mathematical expression, which is being read as such.
Or D over dx 1 over x math content. Blank D over dx left parent 1 over x right parent. X-ray.
D over dx, and then there's a bracket 1 over x.
2. U2. General examples. U v to the power of prime equals u to the power of prime v to the power of prime math content. And cu equals cu to the power of prime math content. Where c math content is a constant. A notational convention we will use today is list end.
So as you can hear, all of those were mathematical expressions on the top, which you would, if you were to basically scan it using, any conventional OCR. That, as we know, the fractions kind of, because of they being nonlinear, would kind of just be completely messed up. And so here, because we're using math markup language that screen readers understand and work with, you can actually read this content properly and also navigate, which I don't know why my JAWS is messing up right now. Otherwise, I would have.
Basically, the idea is u v to the power of prime equals u to the power of prime v to the power of prime math content.
It'll open up something like math equation viewers. And then I don't know why it stops reading anything for me. So it seems to be some issue that I need to look into. But essentially, this would open an equation viewer. And once you're in the equation viewer, you will be able to kind of like navigate this various terms. What is on the left-hand side of the equal sign? What is on the right-hand side? If you had a numerator and like a fraction, you'll be able to read the numerator separately, read the denominator separately. And if you were to just come out of this, then you can just read it as an expression. That Sunil was describing as you would get on the app, like
u v to the power of prime equals u to the power of prime v to the power of prime math content.
U v to the power of prime equals u prime v prime. So that's kind of like how you're able to access math as well. This is not limited by the specific mathematical constructs. So this is pretty wide. We do support college level math, and so if you are basically doing like for example, things like anything to do with calculus, even advanced level and all that kind of stuff, like set theory or whatever, you should be able to access your material in an accessible format using this feature.
Okay,
that in a
so
nutshell is,
Karthik, so the question is, you are using JAWS for NVDA users. Would you be in a position to switch to NVDA and do the same using MathPlayer or MathCat if you're using it?
Wrong person to ask. I'll see if I can try. I do have it.
No, I think, I have.
You got it?
Now. Yeah.
You got it? Okay. There you go, Sunil. All right.
So yeah, we do support, both JAWS and NVDA. And I would say, NVDA right now as it stands is better to access mathematics. We are again working on it because JAWS is, as you know, as paid software, closed development. So it's a bit hard to have our say there, but right now we're trying there as well. If what we can do with JAWS and how it can fix the bug. Earlier it had all the features, whatever NVIDIA has, but I will show you now in that part. So I'll start my screen share. Now, can you hear me?
You can see your screen.
Yeah. Yes, your screen is visible, and we can hear the screen sound. Screen reader sound. Yes.
Rate 0. Meeting controls. Chapter-7.html.
So now I have a
application clickable paren. Page 9 heading level 6. Integrals.
So yeah, before I go into how it treats the mathematics, so one of
Sunny has joined the meeting
the
alert.
convention that we have right now here is in the top of each of the mathematical document that are converted by iSTEM services,
Button using JAWS. Click here.
you have this button
Heading level 6 button using JAWS. Click here.
which says, using JAWS. Click here.
Sunny has left the meeting alert.
And again, if you are using NVIDIA, this text will, right now I'm not using JAWS. So it's coming as using JAWS. Click here, question mark. And if let's say you were using JAWS and you wanted to switch to NVIDIA mode, then you need to press it. And then it will be, NVIDIA mode where you can read it. Right now, due to some technical thing, how JAWS and NVIDIA are handling them differently, we have to introduce this mode. We are working on it if we can remove this quickly. But right now, as it stands, in each of your mathematical converted document, you will have a button at the top, which toggles between how JAWS read the mathematical expression versus how NVIDIA and TalkBack read it. So NVIDIA and TalkBack work in the same mode, and JAWS has, for JAWS, we have to introduce a different mode. So right now, it's showing me using JAWS. So that means I'm right now in the NVIDIA mode. Therefore, it's asking me if you're using JAWS, click here. I'm not using JAWS. Therefore, I'll not click on that button. I'll go and show you one of the expressions.
Application. Page 9 heading level 6 integrals. 295. Example 1 write an antiderivative for each of the following functions using the method of inspection : left paren I right paren. Application clickable cosine 2x.
Cosine 2x.
Blank.
This was the first question.
Left paren Roman 2 right paren. Application clickable 3x squared plus 4x cubed.
The next one is 3x squared plus 4x cubed.
Blank. Left paren Roman 3 right paren. Application clickable 1 over x comma x is not equal to 0.
1 over x is not equals to 0.
Left paren blank. Application clickable 3x squared plus. Sunny has left the meeting alert. 3x squared plus 4. Top blank.
So this is how even it works in the NVIDIA mode as well.
Top blank.
So you can read out the expression and then understand the content.
3x squared plus 4. Chapter dash. Meeting. Chapter 3x squared. 3x squared plus 4x cubed application focused. 1 over x comma x is not equal to 0. 1 over x comma x is not equal to 0. 1 over x. Numerator 1.
So once you click on one of these expressions, let's say I clicked on 1 over x right now. So then you have a tree-like structure available. Again, tree is, I think, a bit of a computer science term. So in general term, I would like to, make you understand what that means is you can understand or you can read the equation at expression level. So for example, in this case, the top level expression will be
1 over x comma x is not equal to 0.
This was the whole equation. It read it in a single go. Now I can explore the parts of it.
1 over x.
This is the first part.
Comma. X is not equal to 0.
This is the second part. So when I'm moving at the parts level, at the same level, for example, if the expression was 1 over x, comma, x not equals to 0. So 1 over x and x not equals to 0 are, kind of, again, information at the same level. That means they are, not substituent of one another. But 1 over x, if you think about it, it's a whole expression of its own, which has two parts. One is 1, which is a numerator, and then x, which is a denominator. So in this case, if you want to move to the substituent of an expression, you should press up and down, down arrow to go deep and deep, or in other words, smaller and smaller expression. And if you want to read expression at a higher level or at a, more grouped level, then you should go up. For a particular level, you should be using left and right arrow. So now
1 over x comma x is not equal to 0.
This is the top level. I am right now at the top. I press the up arrow. Now I'll press down arrow.
1 over x.
So it said me 1 over x. So it read the expression in that particular level, first expression in the particular level. Now if I press right arrow,
comma,
it says comma, which is, just an expression.
X is not equal to 0.
And then the next expression, x not equals to 0. I'll again go in left in the first part. Now,
comma, 1 over x.
Once I'm here, I can press down arrow.
Numerator 1.
It says numerator 1. If I again press down arrow, it's not saying anything because then there is nothing more to divide it into.
Denominator x.
But if I press right arrow, which is, moving within an expression, so it says denominator x.
Numerator 1.
Numerator 1.
Denominator x.
Denominator x. I can press up arrow.
1 over x.
So I can read whole thing.
comma.
Now
X is not equal to
X
0.
not equals to 0. Let's say I want to explore this one as well.
X.
So I can press
Rihan
down
has
arrow.
left the meeting alert. Is not equal to
X. Then I press right arrow. It says not equals to
0.
Then 0. So this is how you can click on any mathematical expression and explore it part by part. Just remember that, left and right represent the information at the same level, and up and down allows you to go either at a higher group level or into more constituent or substituent part of it, or at a finer or grainer level. So that's how you can read or explore the mathematical expression part by part. So this functionality right now is not available on Android. That's why we have demoed it here. But you can simply read mathematics on the Android, something like this.
1 over x comma x is not equal to 0.
So this is something you can read on the Android right now. And again, one of the limitations we have there is if it is having many pages, so that might not work for now. But again, we are working on it. If we can, divide the file in smaller chunks so that the CPU and other things can handle the load. So again, that is the part coming down in quickly. Again, one of the things we will be working on is perhaps a demo for all of this on our website as well soon. So you can also go to our website and see how what you should be using, how you should be doing to read the mathematics. I think that's all. Anything else you want to cover?
Good, Sunil. So Sunil, one question. You're using NVDA with Math Player?
No, we are not using NVDA with Math Player. We are using here NVDA with MathJax. So there is a library which is used.
Okay, so you're using MathJax. So just for information, Bookshare is facilitating a group between Daisy Consortium, Benetech, Neil Soiswer, who is the developer of Math Player, and he's now coming up with a new add-on called MathCats. So you guys should be a part of that, because MathCat is coming out very well. It's an advanced version of Math Player, and it has got multi-functionality which goes in as an add-on with NVDA. It's in the beta 3 release currently. And if Karthik and you are interested in joining that little group where we monthly discuss the development of MathCat and other reading solutions, where we could also include yours, and experts could also give you sort of their feedback on how things are working after using iStem apps.
Sure, that'll be great. That'll be very helpful.
Good. So for our users, MathCat is nothing else but a new add-on. And once you install that add-on with NVDA, there are 2-3 distinct features. Number one is it can control reading speed of math equations. So you can read the rest of the text at a higher speed, but whenever it encounters a math equation, you can control that speed. You can slow it down so that you can listen to the math equation. You can also do exactly what Sunil demonstrated, zoom in into the equation using your arrow keys and navigate within the equation. It also gives you the freedom of choosing if it's a chemical equation or if it's a math equation, like what Math Player does. And hence it gives you proper algorithms. Using proper algorithms, it will announce the equation much better for you. So there are nice little features coming up in MathCat. And for refreshable Braille display users, it gives you much more control, and the Nimitt code is much better compared to Math Player. So that's one of the biggest advantages for those who are using refreshable Braille displays. For screen reader users, obviously there's a lot of advantage. So Karthik, I'll put you in touch, and the next meeting is on the 6th of May at 9 a.m. 8:30 morning your time, 9 p.m. India.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Good. So now let's quickly have questions from our users. Anybody who wants to ask a question, as usual, Bookshare method, raise your hand, will allow you to unmute, and then you can ask your question.
Audio settings menu button. Mute my audio. All plus eight. Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
Akash, you can ask a question. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
I am Akash. My question is regarding iStem create document is very well. Firstly, thank you to iStem team for this wonderful app. And my question is why it is giving मतलब heading level 6 से क्यों शुरुआत कर रहा है ये heading level 1 2 3 ऐसे क्यों नहीं heading से इसके लग रहे हैं
वो heading level 6 से इसलिए शुरुआत कर रहा है क्योंकि वो जो content है वो उसका actually part नहीं है वो उसको more like metadata समझो कि you know वो it's basically providing you some information about you know where you are in the document. We didn't actually want to override that with the actual heading structure of the document, right? Because you could have a heading level 1 on the first page itself, and then you know the next heading would be heading level 2. So the chances are that you know common like most popular documents wouldn't necessarily have a crazy structure where this would extend to heading level 6. Right, where you will have subsection. You know, it can happen, but usually we don't see that all that often. And so to be able to retain the actual heading structure of the document while still providing an easy way to move from one page to the other by using headings is kind of why pages are rendered as heading 6 as opposed to actually messing with the actual heading structure of the document.
So Karthik, if I can simplify your answer for Akash. Akash, जब हम page move करना चाहेंगे, तो page move करने के लिए HTML view के अंदर अगर आप heading level 6 को सीधा select करोगे, 6 आप दबाओगे, तो next page पे ले जाने के लिए heading level 6 mark कर दिए. तो सारे pages जो है वो heading level 6 पे है, page numbers. तो नेक्स्ट पेज पे जाने के लिए आपको न्यूमेरिक ऊपर जो अल्फा न्यूमेरिक रो है उसमें 6 दबाने से सीधे आप नेक्स्ट पेज के ऊपर जंप कर जाओगे, इसलिए ये हेडिंग लेवल 6 मार्क किया हुआ है. ठीक है,
ओके सर,
थैंक यू. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन.
स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट का स्ट्रक्चर बहुत अच्छा है, इसके लिए ग्रेट थैंक्स फॉर iStem team.
Thank you Akash. Next question please, can you raise your hand? Santosh Kumaresan, can you unmute?
Yes, he can unmute and speak. Yes.
Hello.
Go ahead, Santosh.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to say that it is a great application. That is, lots of OCR applications are available, but I can say that we are suffering from distorted structure of the documents. So I think it solves the problem. So thank you so much to the entire iStem team. And my question is that. Will you add PDF format in Quick OCR also? And when we do Quick OCR, then what happens with the structure of the document? Thank you so much.
Yeah, so the Quick OCR is actually not supposed to, the intended use is not for you to get the actual structure. Again, the reason we wanted to introduce Quick OCR was to be able to provide you quick responses, right? So let's say you need something like almost immediately. Then the way our document accessibility service works as you know, at least today, is to be able to retain structure. It basically goes through some AI-based processing, which takes time, right? And so that doesn't let you get an immediate output. So the Quick OCR was developed, as the name suggests, to quickly get the results. But the downside then is you actually don't get the same level of semantic structure that you get with document accessibility. So that's why, you know, what my recommendation is, if you know that the document is rather, you know, plain text, there isn't any crazy thing happening with the document, and you only want to extract text from the document, then you can use Quick OCR to get a very quick result. If the document has any sort of layout to it, you know, whether it's columns or it's tables or it's anything else, or it's links or headings, blah, 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 then we recommend you actually use the document accessibility service.
So Karthik, a corresponding question, how long is the time frame for the document accessibility service to sort of give back results? Is there any sort of like rough time frame for if it's a 50-page document or if it's a 100-page document, it might take you X hours or something to come back?
So in terms of what we have seen, a 100-page document can take you as much as about an hour.
Okay.
that's kind of roughly what.
Because generally, when we experimented with the first time, it took us about 4.5 hours for about a 200-page book, multi-column with very few equations, simple equations like what was demonstrated today. So it took about 4.5 hours to come back. So is that sort of a normal thing, or is that something due to server load or something?
Yeah, that is a little unexpected. Usually what we found is about 100 corresponds to an hour.
Yeah. Let's move to the next question.
Those who joined name of ASUS, please rename. Okay. Please, okay, before ask question, say your name.
Hello?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you're audible. Can you have your name, please?
Vignesh Pathak.
Vignesh. Go ahead, Vignesh.
Karthik sir, I have 3 questions to ask. First one is related to iStem, that if I have any document which contain illustrative images with the text and equations and all, so what is the result then if I go with that document accessibility?
So when you say an illustrative image, what exactly do you mean? So like, is it basically an image like a JPEG file or a scanned page that has equations? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. The second one, like it contains some images along with the data.
So the images, again, our models will be able to say that something is an image for the most part. Sometimes it kind of like removes them, but for the most part you will basically just hear an image which for example doesn't have text, which is just an image, as like that there's an image and that's about it, and the remaining equations and text should actually come as it normally would. Now, if there are, for example, labels. So one example that I would give is, let's say you have an experimental setup where you basically you have a bunch of labels, for example, in the image, right? Now, the thing is, those labels don't really make much sense unless you have some visual context of the image as well. Now, that is where we're actually able to figure out that image contains label that isn't really relevant to the text as such. Versus, for example, actual text being rendered as an image or being represented in an image. So that is sort of what the difference is. And we're able to, or we've tried to basically kind of take care of that, right? So any labels in the image that wouldn't make sense without you knowing what is in the image will be removed from the text layer because we don't want to confuse you. But anything that actually is scanned but actually contains content or text will actually remain, and it will come out of the image into the text layer, and then you'll be able to read that content correctly using a screen reader. Does that help answer? Vignesh, I think you might be on mute.
Okay, so Vignesh has gone mute. So, Vignesh, are you back with us? Vignesh? No. So let's move to the next question. Quickly.
Yeah, Pranav, you can ask a question.
Pranav, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I just had one question, and this is a pretty niche scenario, but it just came in my mind, partly because you guys have touched quite a few bases already. Say there is a PDF which is, it's still accessible, but there are still images. Some of these images, or in some cases, may have all text already applied to them, but the rest of the PDF may be hard to read because of the way it's structured or whatever. Is there any possibility right now, or is it coming up in the future for you guys to take the data out of the image, the all text attributes from the image, and apply them to the HTML document while making it accessible?
So I'll answer the first part, and then I'll ask Sunil for a specific part of it. I'm not sure if we get that attribute right now, but the way we handle digital files is that we do extract as much information as possible from the original file. So for example, if this was just a traditional OCR, then for example, if you have links, those links would go away because that is essentially kind of properties within the file, and that file, as you said, might not be completely accessible. But then the way we handle those digitally born files is actually get as much information as possible from them, including links, including things like headers and footers, etc., and then and then retain that information when we are actually providing you the iSTEM output. Sunil, do we expose alt text right now for digital files? Sunil, you might be on mute in case you're speaking. Oh, come back to it maybe. I'm not exactly sure at the moment. I can check and get back to you on
Karthik,
this.
you mentioned headers and footers. About footers, do you have a separator for the footer to be identified as a footer? How does it go?
Yeah, we basically do. Right now, it's basically marked as a header and a footer.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, kind of like how the page numbers are.
Good. Can you move to the next question, Kamarsan?
I got it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pranav. Next question.
Okay,
yes,
Aman.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, iSTEM does have any group for students, those who are studying maths and science?
Yes, we do have a few communities. So we do have, we do have a student community, we do have a youth community and a mentors community, et cetera, et cetera. And then again, as I said, you're also able to sign up for mentorship on the platform as well. There are a bunch of community features there that you can explore on the web interface in particular. And so if you're interested to join a community, then you can do that through the web portal at the moment. And we bring some of those features to the app as well soon.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Vignesh having some other question. Yeah, Vignesh, you can ask a question.
We don't hear you, Vignesh.
Kamarsan, move on to the next question, please.
Yeah, that's it, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
yes,
we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, the second question which I was supposed to ask you that which is out of the context of today's topic, but I want to know whether it is possible to study in foreign like Europe and such countries for masters with subject like physics.
Yes. The short answer is yes. Happy to connect offline to talk in detail about it.
So for that, how to connect to such mentors?
I'll share my email in the chat for anyone who wants to get in touch. Happy to connect and help out in any way that I can.
And sir, maybe you have put the answer, but I want to know: is there any community in which I can meet such people who are graduate from with the subject like physics, chemistry, maths?
Yeah, those are the iSTEM groups that I was talking about. What I would suggest you to do is use the web portal where you can use, for example, mentorship if you have a specific question right now, or just send me an email and we can add you to a bunch of communities that we have already that you can be a part of.
I write many on the NFB and such a.
Vignesh, we can take this offline with Karthik directly with him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Yeah. We'll connect you to Karthik. If you don't have his email ID, we'll connect you to Karthik.
Okay, that will be great.
Thank you. So thank you, everybody. It's getting late night for Karthik. It's almost 12 o'clock where Karthik is at night. So thank you so much for staying awake for us, Karthik. And thanks, Sunil, for sharing the screen. So thank you, everybody. For any further communications, please reach out to Bookshare Technical Helpline. And we'll be happy to connect and pass on your questions to Karthik and team. The Bookshare helpline number is 92840-28466. I repeat, 92840-28466. Or write to us at membership-india@bookshare.org. Thank you for participating. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.